Inflation doesn't arrive like a crisis. It arrives quietly. One day, money still works. Another day, it buys less. Not because you failed, but because the system changed. That's why inflation is dangerous, because it doesn't feel dangerous at all. Here's something most people don't know. For most of human history, inflation barely existed. Prices stayed stable for decades, sometimes for centuries. So the real question is not why inflation is happening today. The real question is why it became normal. For thousands of years, money was tied to something real: gold, silver, land, labor. If rulers spent too much, they ran out of money. Life changed slowly. So did prices. Money couldn't grow faster than reality, until power learned a shortcut. Every major inflation story in history starts the same way. Not with greed, but with necessity. Ancient Rome needed money to fund wars and maintain its empire. So emperors reduced the silver inside their coins. Same coin, less value. At first, nobody noticed. Then prices rose, trust fell, trade weakened. Rome didn't collapse in a single moment. It diluted itself, and inflation revealed its first rule. Inflation doesn't destroy money first, it destroys trust. Centuries later, Europe repeated the mistake. In the 16th century, gold and silver flooded in from the Americas. The money supply exploded. Production didn't. Prices rose 6 times. No printing press. No central banks. Just a simple rule repeating itself. When money grows faster than goods, prices adjust. Slowly at first, then permanently. But inflation becomes truly dangerous when people realize what's happening. After World War I, Germany chose printing over pain. Money was printed to pay debts, wages, and unrest. At first, it worked. Then people stopped saving. They spent immediately, because tomorrow, money would be worth less. Eventually, a 100 trillion mark note couldn't buy a bus ticket. At that moment, inflation stopped being economic. It became behavioral. When people stopped trusting money, they stopped planning the future. Zimbabwe showed the final stage. Money was printed to fund wars, corruption, and collapsing production. Inflation reached numbers so large that bank machines failed. Not politically, digitally. The system couldn't display the zeros. Money didn't lose value, it lost meaning. So why hasn't this happened everywhere? Because inflation evolved. In 1971, money changed forever. Currencies were no longer tied to gold. They were tied to confidence. Inflation didn't explode. That was the genius. It became controlled, targeted, expected. A slow leak instead of a flood. Modern inflation doesn't feel like collapse. It feels like running faster just to stay in the same place. Today, inflation is managed, not eliminated. Savings quietly lose value. Debt becomes easier to carry. Spending is rewarded. Waiting is punished. Inflation isn't an accident. It's a feature of the system we chose. But history also teaches how to survive it. Money that sleeps shrinks. Cash loses power over time. Skills age slower than currencies. What you can do often matters more than what you hold. Systems reward ownership more than effort. Assets adjust. Salaries chase. Debt forgives some people and destroys others. The difference is stability. These are not tricks. They are patterns repeated across centuries. Inflation doesn't ask for permission. It only asks one question. Will you understand the system or keep blaming yourself inside it?